The miracle of Jesus walking on the water, is it a metaphor? I don't want to deny that it is a miracle. The story is recorded in Matthew chapter 14, verses 23 to 33. And what is Matthew trying to tell us? You will also discover there is a difference between Jesus sleeping in the boat and Jesus walking on the water. Watch the entire video and you will enrich your knowledge about scripture and you will be better prepared to experience divine presence in your life. I am Father Firoz Fernandez and thank you for clicking on this video and dedicating time to reflect on Sunday readings. And those of you who are new here, I welcome you on this channel. And those of you who have been my new subscribers very recently, once again a big thanks and a welcome for you. Watch out my other videos and give me a thumbs up and interact with me online through comments. And if some of you who are still watching me and have not subscribed, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell, and let's promote the gospel. Thank you. And let's begin. There are two stories. The story of Jesus walking on the water in Matthew chapter 14 verses 23 to 33 and Jesus calming the storm in Matthew chapter 8 verses 23 to 27. These stories are similar and there is something different about them. And this is what we are going to explore now. In both stories, the disciples are in the boat and Jesus is absent. Yes, one story Jesus is sleeping and one story Jesus is praying on the mountain. And in both stories, Jesus rebukes the disciples saying, "O man of little faith." And in both stories, the disciples are amazed at Jesus' power. Difference is in the response of the disciples. In one story where Jesus is calming the storm, the disciples are confused. They are saying, "What kind of man is this? Even the sea and the wind obey him." But in the other story where Jesus is walking on the water, the disciples worship him as the Son of God. And Matthew will record the next time the disciples are going to worship Jesus as the Son of God is only after his resurrection. So what changed? How did the confused disciples become enlightened? So when the disciples saw Jesus walking on the water, they assumed that it is a ghost of Jesus walking on the water. And the disciples did not know how to respond. The disciples were familiar with the storms in the sea. They knew how to keep the boat safe, but they did not know how to respond to a man who is walking on the water. Did you know that the fear of the disciples was based on an assumption that Herod might have killed Jesus? Now, Herod had heard that Jesus was performing miracles and he was thinking that John the Baptist has come back to life. And there was this possibility that Herod wanted to kill Jesus. So this was in the back of the minds of the disciples. So when they saw Jesus walking on the water, they assumed that Herod had already killed Jesus and they were seeing a ghost of Jesus, a dead man walking on water. And they did not know how to respond. So they were afraid. Did you notice that one story has a great storm which the disciples are afraid of to die and they call on to Jesus, "Lord, save us." Whereas in the other story, there is no storm. Jesus walking on the water, the waves and the wind is almost normal. And the disciples are not afraid of their death. The disciples are afraid of Jesus walking on the water. The fear of a disciple is reasonable when you have the storms of persecution, when you have the real storms of persecution. But sometimes the fear of a disciple is more about testing the assumption about God and faith in different situations. Why is this miracle a metaphor for Christians? Matthew wrote during a time where Christians were being persecuted. Both these stories are about danger, fear, and faith. Both these stories brought immense comfort for early Christians. These stories does not tell you that you will be spared from suffering and death. These stories generate hope that Christ is going to come to save you even after your death. Matthew is reassuring every follower that in times of troubles, have faith because Jesus is present in every situation. It may be like a storm or it may be a normal scenario based on our assumption. How is this story relevant for each one of us? The spontaneous Peter found it difficult to hold on to Jesus. This story invites us to be stable in faith in times of crisis. Yes, you can be spontaneous. Be stable in, in your faith in times of crisis. There is also something, Peter's request almost resembles Satan's challenge to Jesus. If you are the Son of God, do this or allow me to do this. You cannot dictate terms to God what to do and what not to do. That's what we are called in this story, to trust God because God can do everything, can intervene into our life and work out a miracle. This is a story that becomes a bridge between disciples who are afraid to die, and these same disciples become the disciples that worship Jesus. It's a story of every faith community filled with fear, wanting to grasp something in times of difficult situation. It's a story of every Christian going back and forth from doubt to faith, sometimes focusing on the storms of life, a threatening situation, and sometimes focusing on Jesus. It's a story about you and me moving from doubt to faith to enlightenment to worship Jesus. Thank you for watching the entire video. Your time and your contribution helps me to promote the gospel. And those of you who have been watching the video and have not yet subscribed, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell so that you don't miss out any of my faith-based, scripture-centered videos. And give me your likes, your comments, interact with me online. I invite you, if you want me to do a video on a particular faith or scripture-based topic, just write your comments, right in the comment section below. This is a blessing. You spending time is a time filled with grace. God bless you and be great. Enjoy your time.